this lady I'd been talking to had contacted her credit card, claimed that she was like, what is this item? I never bought it. I didn't authorize it. She was selling things on eBay, and on eBay was the bag I'd sent her. Hey everyone! A couple of videos ago I did a story time and I was talking about how I got pretty screwed into buying a fake a long time ago when I was like I think I was about 20 at the time, and I really wanted this Chanel bag, and I managed to find one that was affordable, and it was affordable for a reason. And part of the reason as well why I fell for it, and what I was saying in that video, is I think, and this is the difficult thing, if there is a bag that you want, this is a tip for any of you, okay? Because there is like a proper problem with fakes and super fakes, and none of us want to spend our hard-earned money and then find out that we've been scammed and we've got a fake item. So one of the problems that I find, just before I tell you about a story that was the other way round, so I wasn't duped into buying a fake, I sold something and the person did a chargeback, and I'm going to tell you what happened, because in a way that was kind of more shocking than being sold a fake, and I'm going to talk about that. But just really quickly to say, I think one of the real difficulties when it comes to buying secondhand or anything like that is that, first of all, you're doing it through an online platform, so you can't really see the item close up. But also the problem that I had, and the reason why I fell for that Chanel bag, is if you haven't been up close and personal with one, if you haven't touched one, felt it, opened it, seen all of the details, see how the logo should look, it's very difficult when you then go and buy one, because it can turn up, and because you haven't been up close to the real thing, there might be subtleties about it that you would only know if you put your bag next to something that was real. Really good example is I see loads and loads of Christian Dior book totes, and I actually saw one a couple of weeks ago and it didn't say Christian Dior, it said Christian Door. Of the ones that I've seen, I don't know whether they're bought by people that have been duped or by people that just want it and they're like, do you know, £2 for a blooming shopping bag is too much. But the thing with the book tote, and this is what I'm saying, the thing with the book tote is it is heavy. I love that bag, but it's so heavy. It's heavy before you put anything in it. The fabric on it is also quite like upholstery fabric, and the versions that I've seen that aren't real, yeah, if you look at them from afar, they might be able to pass as real, particularly if somebody sees it and they've never seen the real thing before. But very often the size isn't quite right, so the size will be neither a medium nor a large nor a small, if you see what I mean. It's somewhere in the middle. But again, most people wouldn't realise it. And also it's kind of things like when you actually get to see it close up and you see the weight of it and you see the fabric's not right. And even, I'm going to show you actually, because for any of you who kind of don't want to fall into this trap, you know the background there? On a lot of the fake bags, the not amazing fake bags, this bit's white, and on the real thing it's not. It's kind of like a dirty cream. That's kind of what I mean, is the problem for all of us when we buy a bag that we haven't been able to see in real life, and we might only have been able to see it through YouTube videos. I think it's really easy to buy something, have your doubts, but not categorically be able to say, yeah, this is fake. It's more that you feel it is. And I don't have a solution for that. The only solution is to be able to go in the store and feel it and try it, but even then it's difficult. Moving on to this story about what happened to me, and this has massively put me off selling. I mean, I did sell a few bags, was it 2 years ago, 2019? Even when I did that, I was nervous. What I'm going to tell you happened in 2015, and thankfully I kept the money, but let me just tell you, it was horrible. I was selling a Louis Vuitton bag. I had the item listed on a selling app, and I had someone who was interested in this bag. Again, just like that story about when I got duped into buying that fake bag, these people are always so nice. They're always so, so lovely. And now, I mean, not that I would question anyone who was really nice, but that's what they were both like. So anyway, this lady really wanted this bag, and we were talking backwards and forwards. She kind of wanted some more pictures, which I totally understood, and really, really friendly, lovely person. She paid through PayPal, and I sent it to her confirmed address. So if you're going to send to someone, I do like PayPal, because unlike years ago where they always used to sell with the seller, except some reason for whenever I bought something that was sketchy, PayPal now has got seller protection if you sell to a registered address and if you can provide tracking. So her registered address, it had the green tick next to it or whatever it is. I sent the item off. I wrote her tracking information. Again, she was lovely. And then weeks went past, and I checked the tracking, and she'd signed for it pretty soon after. So I didn't think too much. She didn't get in touch. That was it. I kind of, you know, moved on. And then probably about 4 weeks later, I was actually stood in the Chinese takeaway at the time. I was stood in there waiting for my food, and I checked my phone, and my heart dropped. I had an email come through from PayPal saying that I had a chargeback, I had a dispute, and that my PayPal had been like blocked. So what happens is, for any of you that know, what happens is, and this is the bit that I was really insulted about, is PayPal freeze any money you have in your account, and you can't use it, you can't move it. They put your account into like negative, and your whole account is basically frozen. Even though they've got no proof at that point that who's at fault here, they just do that. The person who's raised the case, that doesn't happen to them. So I had this email. I couldn't log in from my phone though, because the password was on my computer at home. So I got my food, and I felt really, really anxious, and I drove home, because at that point as well, I didn't know, I was selling a few things. I didn't know what the problem was specifically in connection with. So I got home, went to my computer, logged in, and went to the resolution center on PayPal, and it said that this lady I'd been talking to had contacted her credit card, claimed that she was like, what is this item? I never bought it. I didn't authorize it. And the credit card had contacted PayPal and said, we're going to do an investigation. PayPal, please, can you get us some info of the seller, and then we'll investigate. I emailed the lady, and I emailed her on the email address she'd been writing to me. And by the way, that email address was her registered PayPal email. So I emailed her back, and I said, oh, hi, you know, I can see that a couple of weeks back you got the bag. I just want to check what's going on, because I've just had PayPal contact me, and my PayPal account's frozen, and there's all this stuff about how you didn't buy it. Certainly at that point, I'm not going to be rude, because I want to solve the situation. And she never wrote back, and I thought, okay, that's a shame. Thank God. Here's what I did. I put together a presentation. You know me, I do a presentation for everything. If I'm going for a review, a job interview, or to get my money back on PayPal, I'm gonna do a full-on PowerPoint presentation. So I put in this presentation screenshots of all of the emails, and I also put up a screenshot of the address that it had been sent to, which was her registered address. I put up a screenshot of her signature, and she'd actually written her name on, claiming, like, taking collection of the parcel. She used a username, and when I looked up the username, she was selling things on eBay, and on eBay was the bag I'd sent her, and she had it listed for sale, and I screenshot that as well. I couldn't believe the sheer audacity in doing that. I mean, at least wait until you've gone through with your fraudulent claim before putting the thing on eBay. Anyway, so I did this presentation. It had all of the screenshots in it. I uploaded it to the resolution center on PayPal. Didn't hear anything for a while. Now, bear in mind that the whole time this is going on, my PayPal account, my PayPal account had been frozen. I couldn't use it. I used that to pay for a lot of stuff. I couldn't use it at all. And so it was really inconvenient as well at the same time, particularly when I knew that that person was basically trying to steal that item and get the money back. Ages later, I feel like at least 2 or 3 weeks later, I got an email from PayPal saying that her credit card was still investigating, and PayPal had forwarded to MasterCard the presentation I'd put together. And PayPal said, we just want to give you an update and to let you know that we've reviewed the information you've sent in. And the guy who wrote the email was actually really nice, and he said, because you've sent it to her registered address and because you've sent it with tracking and she signed for it, I can tell you that you're basically safe. I can't unlock your account for you yet because we need to hear back from MasterCard and get them to close off the case with us, but I can tell you the money that she's paid you that's still in your account, that's still frozen, it's yours. You're not going to lose that. Now, in 1 second, I'm going to tell you as well about something new that I'm planning on doing when I want to sell things. And there are some things I want to sell at the moment, and it's just that's putting me off. I then heard from PayPal a while later after that. My account had been unlocked, thank God, and I had the money was still in my account, and I phoned up PayPal. Can anyone who works through a credit card please tell me what happens? PayPal said to me that they believed this person was definitely fraudulently trying to keep the item and get the money back. The guy from PayPal also said to me that what was not very smart on the part of this person was that everything led back to her. You know, her email address, her PayPal account, her registered home address, her signature, everything led back to her. Even her email account that had the same username that she used in her email. And this guy said, you know, normally when people do this for a living or whatever, he said they make a mess of it. You know, they'll put an unregistered address and they'll hope the person just sends it there. He said a lot of the time, and here's something else for you guys, he said that a lot of the time a fraudulent person, not everyone, but he said a lot of the time they do this, they will have you send it to an unregistered address, and if you kind of fight back on it, they're like, well, I'm not going to be home, please send it to this address. If you then go ahead with it, even if you send it tracked, apparently you can end up as a seller in a situation where you are not covered because you haven't sent it to their actual billing address. I asked PayPal, out of interest, what would MasterCard or Visa or any of these places, what happens to people that do this? Now, this is where I'd just be curious to hear from any of you if you work for a credit card company. Do you know the answer to this? Because people that do this are awful to do that. And I'm always surprised by the number of people that have no problem in doing it. I'd be really scared because I'd be thinking, God, that's theft. Not only am I doing the person that sold it to me out of money, but it's fraud. And if you get caught for it, it'd be pretty bad. So please, anyone who knows, please let me know. Does that person have their cards taken away from them? Do they get something put on their credit file? I'd just be really interested to know. Okay, so here are some comments from some of you over the last couple of weeks, and you've been saying to me, I'm really worried about this whole fake thing, not just buying, but I've got some stuff I want to sell. And what do you say? What do you think? There is a really big thing going on. I don't want to worry anyone, but this is what's putting me off. There is a big trend of not just people buying online, but people brazenly doing this in the actual boutiques, where they buy the bag, they then replace it in the box or in the dust bag with a fake one, and they take it back into the boutique and they kick off. And you know, it's kind of like shouting. That's what I've been told anyway from someone who works at Chanel, that you get people that go in there and they'll raise the roof about, you sold me a fake bag. Apparently it's quite awkward because I guess once this person's decided that they're going to do that, they can't back down. They can't, if they're up against pressure, if the person's like, no, you've brought back a fake, if they back out at that point and say, okay, yeah, well, I haven't, but yeah, I'll keep it, then it shows them to be lying, even though everyone knows that they are. And I think that's probably another reason why LVMH have brought in this RFID chip in bags that people in store can scan. I know for a lot of you, you've said the same thing is happening when you're selling your bags. You're getting customers going, oh, this is fake, and they're returning to you stuff that you did not send out, and it's not your bag, and then it's up to you to prove yourself. Here is one thing that I'm thinking of doing. I am planning on, when I decide to next sell, I am planning on listing the item. You know, I always keep my receipts and stuff like that for insurance. If you have a receipt, take a photo of it or photocopy it, because certainly when it comes to Chanel in Harrods, when you buy a bag, that serial number is on the receipt, so you can marry up the receipt with the bag. I am going to therefore photograph the receipts, send a photographed version or printed out version to customer. I am then only at the point of sale, once they've paid for the item, I'm going to let them know, right, here's the bag. The serial number on the bag is blah, blah, blah. Here's a photo of the actual serial number on the bag and the authenticity card. I've sent it, here's your tracking info. Because what I would then think is that's probably the only thing I can think of right now that's going to help you, because then if they are going to send you back something fake, well, not only does it need to be fake, but they somehow need to apply date code onto the bag. Do you sort of mean? Because the likelihood is, if they're going to do this to you anyway, they've probably got the fakes sitting around at home ready to go straight back to you. So how are they going to be able to fake a date code unless they phone up China and say, or wherever they're made, and say, can you knock me up a classic flap in black in the medium size? Oh, and here's the date code I need. I'm not saying it's not possible, but they're not going to be able to do that very quickly. So that's personally what I'm going to be doing, and I hope that that might just be one way of trying to protect. It's the only thing I can think of, but if any of you have got any solutions that have worked for you when it comes to selling, just covering yourself, please share them below. I try and write back to as many comments as I can, but I do read so many of the comments, and so many of you are really, really helpful. So please, if you can, just kind of mention below. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.